Let's speak to Joseph Haynes Davis, a lawyer and a journalist, who joins me from Florida now. The crowds outside the courtroom saying that this is justice. Is this a good day for the justice system, and was a white police officer held accountable for his actions?
Because the justice system worked according to what the jury said. This is a jury decision. And in each matter, in each time we have a criminal trial, keep in mind, it is the 12 jurors that make these decisions based upon the evidence presented by both sides, based upon the application of the evidence to the jury instructions. You apparently in this matter have had a very good jury foreman, and now you have the results. Apparently, what has happened, the defendant has been on all charges, and that is by a jury of his peers, and that is how this system works in the United States of America. To the credit of your previous guest who was on before me, he was spot on. The fact of the matter is, policing has to be held accountable, period. The rogue elements, because as your prior guest said, most police folks do their job correctly, but it is the rogue elements that have put the American justice system on trial itself. And today hopefully begins a message to all police agencies across this great nation that what I call the citizen journalist will hold you accountable. That is, the citizens with their cell phones, with the cell phone cameras on the spot, are recording your actions along with the police cameras themselves on their uniforms. But it is the citizen journalist, I believe, that has the most impact, because not only are they recording it, the citizen journalist can then testify to what they've recorded in a rogue police action like this matter.
A couple of activists and campaigners and legal experts that I've spoken to previously, Joseph, have been saying that it was actually really unusual to get to this point, because often police officers who do behave criminally are immune, or there's some reason that they don't face charges, or they're cleared of all charges. What do you think about this case in terms of setting a precedent in holding police officers accountable?
Well, again, I want to reiterate the fact that it was, in my opinion, the citizen journalists who performed the ultimate test of freedom. That is, using their First Amendment freedom by and through their cell phones with the cell phone cameras, and then testifying to what they saw. And let me also say, the whole world saw what happened. That is, the defendant kneeling with both knees on the back of Mr. Floyd, the decedent, and it was broadcast around the world over and over and over again. Let me also add the aftermath of that. In other words, last summer, what happened not only for about 5 months, I believe, as what was reported throughout Minnesota and the Minneapolis area, but also throughout the country. The demonstrations, the rioting, the unrest, that in and of itself let the whole world and the nation know that something was wrong and something needed to be corrected. Now, cynics and the other other analysts, other people in their opinions will say that Mr. Floyd should not have resisted from the beginning. In other words, Mr. Floyd claimed that, he was scared to be in a car and so forth, but yet he drove a car, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. On the other hand, again, that still does not exonerate or excuse the behavior of the defendant now, who has been convicted on all charges, when Mr. Floyd said that he couldn't breathe. And it was clear to everyone from the videotapes that were presented. And let me say one last thing. I believe that was obviously the most important evidence in this case. The fact of the matter is, you can present all of the other ancillary evidence, that's what I call it, when you talk about experts about breathing and experts about blood flow and all this other stuff. At the end of the day, these 12 jurors saw 9 minutes and 29 seconds of video that explained the whole case. Arguably, nothing else needed to be explained.
And just a quick word about that video. Given that that was such important evidence, do you think body cams are going to be used much more rigorously now? That they will be, ordered to keep them switched on at all times, because it does give this kind of evidence in incidents like this?
Well, it depends on the jurisdiction, and it depends on the state. It depends on the agency. We, the citizenry, and I believe it's in the best interest of the citizenry, and your guest prior to me said the same thing. In other words, it's not only good for the citizens of this great nation, but it's also good for the agencies themselves. In other words, it shows when the agency has done the right thing, which still might lead to a death of a defendant.
Joseph, I'm
or a
so
suspect.
sorry. I'm going to have to break in now, because we're getting some live reaction from Minneapolis. So thank you very much indeed. And let's cross to outside the courtroom now.
George Floyd